Okay, so ever get that big rush of excitement, a new goal, maybe a fitness kick, or learning an instrument?
Oh yeah, like finally starting that book you've always talked about.
Exactly. And then poof, the enthusiasm just vanishes, like faster than free pizza at an office meeting, right?
It's such a common thing, that initial motivation. It feels great, but it's just, well, it's a bit of a fair weather friend.
Totally. It gets you started maybe, but trying to rely on just that feeling to get you all the way.
It's like trying to power a whole marathon on like a single sugar cube.
Yeah.
Just not going to happen. It's completely unsustainable.
Right. So today, that's what we're digging into. The real question. How do we build that consistency, that reliable engine that keeps us going, long after the initial buzz wears off?
And we've been looking into this, drawing from the core ideas in the book. Force yourself to be consistent.
Yeah, specifically from this really sharp video summary that kind of boiled it down to the essentials.
And what we've done is take those key insights and really zeroed in on the most practical, actionable stuff, strategies you can actually use to build consistency in your own life.
Exactly. So our mission today is pretty straightforward. Understand how consistency actually works, how it's driven by discipline, by training your mind, even by tiny little actions.
Yeah, it becomes your real advantage. Forget waiting around for inspiration. We're talking about building something much, much more dependable.
And right at the heart of that, there's this core idea the book really hammers home from the get-go.
Which is?
Consistency is way more powerful than intensity.
Yes, that's fundamental. Consistency trumps intensity, especially in the long run.
Okay, let's unpack that. Like, picture the gym scenario. You've got person A who goes once, absolutely smashes it for 3 hours.
Feels completely wrecked for days after.
Right, and then maybe gets back the next week. Then there's person B, just does, say, 20 minutes every single day. Nothing crazy.
Just regular movement, consistent effort.
So a month later, who do you think has actually made more progress?
Well, almost always it's going to be person B, the consistent one, those big sporadic bursts. They just can't compete with the buildup from small, regular actions.
And the cool thing is, this isn't just about the gym, is it?
No, not at all. It applies everywhere. Studying for exams, building a business from scratch, learning a language.
Even just working on your mental health, right?
Absolutely. That steady, daily effort, those small steps forward, that's what creates real, lasting change. It's the whole tortoise and the hare thing, basically. Slow and steady.
Yeah, those regular little bits, they really win the race.
And it shifts your focus, which is interesting. Instead of thinking, how much can I possibly cram into today?
Yeah, like a heroic effort.
Right. The better question becomes, okay, how far can I actually get if I just do a little bit every single day? Consistency stops being just a tactic. It becomes like a lifestyle.
Like paving a path towards your goal, one small stone at a time.
Exactly.
Now, okay, obstacles. We usually think the big problems are external, don't we? Not enough time, no energy, lack of resources, that kind of stuff.
Those are the usual suspects.
But the book makes this really strong point that actually, often the biggest hurdle, it's our own mind.
That's such a crucial insight. Our brains, they're incredibly adaptable. The video we looked at really highlighted this. If you keep forcing yourself, gently, to do something.
Even when you don't feel like it.
Right. Over time, it genuinely gets easier.
Yeah.
That initial resistance you feel, the procrastination, the excuses.
Yeah, they all do it later voice.
That's often just old mental habits fighting back.
It's like trying to start a new morning routine, maybe waking up earlier. The first few days can feel like pulling teeth.
Oh yeah, your brain is just screaming, hit snooze, just 5 more minutes.
But if you push through consistently, even if it's just for, say, 5 minutes of stretching or just sitting quietly.
You're starting to rewire things. You're teaching your brain, okay, this is what we do now.
So each small act of actually doing it, when you repeat it, it kind of redefines what feels normal.
Exactly. The discomfort starts to fade and the action becomes more automatic. It's not about waiting for some magic zap of willpower.
No.
It's a conscious choice to act anyway, even when that inner voice is trying to bargain with you. Think of it like training, like a soldier trains. You practice even when you're tired, even when it's boring.
Because you know it builds strength over time, like the brain being a muscle.
Precisely. The more you use it, the stronger it gets in that specific way. Pushing through that discomfort even a little bit, that's how you grow.
Which leads us perfectly into this idea of micro habits. Because, let's be honest, we often mess up by aiming way too high at the start.
Oh, definitely. We set these huge ambitious goals like I'm gonna meditate for an hour every day, or write 2,000 words.
And then we crash and burn after like 3 days.
Exactly. Total burnout. It's that classic New Year's resolution trap.
So what's the alternative the book suggests? What are micro habits?
They are incredibly small actions. Like, it's so small, it feels almost silly not to do them.
Give me some example.
Okay, things like reading for just 10 minutes, or stretching for 5 minutes, writing one sentence in a journal, even just making your bed first thing.
Huh. It sounds almost too easy. Like, how can reading for 10 minutes make a real difference?
But see, that's the genius of it. Because they're so easy, they're incredibly hard to skip. You build momentum without that overwhelming feeling.
Okay, I see. You avoid the intimidation factor.
Right. Think about a single drop of water. Seems like nothing, right? But
Yeah.
falling over and over in the same spot.
It can wear away stone eventually.
Exactly.
Yep.
It's the cumulative effect. These tiny habits, done consistently, they start to reprogram your mindset, your behavior, your routines, but in a sustainable way.
So it's not just the action, it's the psychological win too.
Absolutely. Every time you do that tiny thing, you get a little ping of success. Hey, I did what I said I'd do.
And those little pings add up.
They really do. They build self-confidence, strengthen your discipline muscle bit by bit, and often they naturally grow. That 10 minutes of reading might become 20, then 30.
Okay, that makes sense. The 5 minutes of stretching might turn into a proper workout warm-up.
Precisely. So these micro habits, they're kind of like the secret weapon for long-term change. They help you dodge burnout and build self-respect because you're keeping promises to yourself, even tiny ones.
Think big, but start incredibly small.
That's the core message for building new habits. Lower the barrier so low, you can't help but step over it.
Which brings us to that big battle. Motivation versus discipline. We've all been there, haven't we? Waiting for the right mood.
Oh yeah, I'll start Monday.
Yeah.
I just don't feel motivated today. We tell ourselves that stuff all the time.
And the book has a pretty blunt take on this, doesn't it?
It does. It says something like, motivation deceives. Discipline is your most reliable ally.
Okay, motivation deceives. Let's break that down. What's the deception?
Well, motivation is framed as an emotion, like happiness or sadness.
Yeah.
It comes and goes.
Yeah, totally unpredictable. Like the weather, as you said.
Exactly. You might feel super motivated after watching a cool video, but tomorrow morning, maybe not so much. Discipline, though, that's different.
How so?
Discipline is presented as a conscious decision, a commitment. It's not based on how you feel right now. It's based on what you've decided is important.
Right. It's about choosing to act based on your goals, not your mood swings.
Think about that 6 a.m. alarm clock again. Day 1, you might jump out of bed full of motivation.
Day 3, it's cold, dark, you're tired.
Motivation has likely checked out, gone, vanished.
That's where discipline has to kick in.
That's exactly where it kicks in. It's forcing yourself sometimes to do the thing anyway, even when you're tired, uninspired, not seeing results yet.
Because you believe in the long-term goal?
Yes. You're driven by that commitment. It's like a professional athlete. They practice every single day.
Even when no one's watching, even when they don't feel like it.
Because they know that consistent practice is what builds champions, not just showing up when they feel hyped.
So it really forces you to look at yourself and ask, am I letting my feelings run the show too often?
That's a great question to ask. Motivation can maybe get you started, light the initial fire.
But discipline is what keeps you going, carries you across the finish line.
Exactly. Which leads us into the practical side, building and actually sticking to a routine.
Right, because if consistency is the goal, a solid routine is kind of like its best friend.
Right.
It makes things habitual.
It really does. It takes the decision-making struggle out of it, eventually. A routine isn't just about scheduling things.
No.
It's about creating a framework that actively supports consistency. Think about the difference between a day with no structure.
Waking up whenever, kind of drifting, easily distracted.
Total chaos, often unproductive, versus a planned routine. Wake up time, work blocks, breaks, maybe exercise, wind down time.
It gives the day shape, focus.
Exactly. Structure brings focus, and focus boosts productivity. But here's the key thing the book stresses.
Just writing down the routine isn't enough.
Not even close. The real magic happens when you adhere to it. Consistently, day after day.
Why is that so powerful?
Because every time you follow your own plan, you send a message to your brain. It's like saying, see, I do what I say I'm going to do.
Ah, so it builds self-trust.
Deeply. It builds that internal reliability. And when you trust yourself to follow through on your own commitments,
That probably makes you more reliable to others too, eventually.
it often translates externally, yes,
Mhm.
but the core benefit is that inner sense of, I've got this. So the advice is clear. Create a routine. Make it simple but solid.
And then treat sticking to it as non-negotiable. Like, that's the foundation.
That's the bedrock. That's your path of consistency and, yeah, maybe even extraordinary results down the line.
Okay, but what about when you are putting in the effort, you're sticking to the routine, but you just don't feel like you're getting anywhere, that treadmill feeling?
Yes. That's super common. And that's where tracking and self-analysis come in. The book puts it simply, what gets measured gets improved.
Makes sense. If you don't measure it, how do you know if you're actually improving or just spinning your wheels?
Exactly. Your progress just feels like a vague guess. Tracking means actively observing and recording what you're doing.
Like, what specifically?
Completed tasks, how long you actually spent in focused work, which habits you followed, even noting when you slipped up and why.
So if your goal was 30 minutes of language study,
You'd log, maybe in a notebook or an app, okay, did 30 minutes today, or only managed 15, got distracted by emails. You note the actual time and maybe the reason for falling short.
okay, so it's honest documentation. What are the main benefits of doing that? Seems like extra work.
It is a little extra work, but the payoff is huge. The video we looked at pointed out two big wins: motivation from seeing progress and crucial self-analysis.
How does it boost motivation?
When you look back and see a record, wow, I've studied for 25 out of the last 30 days, that's tangible proof you're moving forward. Even if the end goal still feels far away, seeing that consistent effort is really encouraging. It keeps you going.
Okay, I get that. Visual proof of progress. And the self-analysis part.
That's about looking at the data you've collected.
Yeah.
You start seeing patterns. I'm always most productive between 9 and 11 a.m. Or I always get sidetracked around 3 p.m. when I check social media.
So you start to understand your own rhythms and weaknesses.
Exactly. And that self-understanding is the absolute key to self-improvement. You can't fix a problem if you don't know what it is or when it happens.
It's like using a fitness tracker for your habits or a budget app for your goals.
Precisely. We track data in other areas of life all the time. Why not for our personal growth? The video gave this simple rule: track, reflect, improve.
Track, reflect, improve. I like that.
And it highlighted that potential for massive growth over time, like improving just 1% a day, driven by that analysis.
They said you could be, what, 37 times better in a year?
Something like that. It shows the power of compounding small, informed improvements based on tracking.
Okay, so let's tie this all together. Building real, lasting consistency. It's not about waiting for motivation.
No, definitely not.
It's about starting small, maybe with those micro habits.
Yep. Make it easy to start.
Prioritizing discipline, showing up even when you don't feel like it.
That's your reliable engine,
Building a routine to give you structure.
your daily framework.
And then tracking your progress to stay motivated and figure out how to get better.
Track, reflect, improve. That whole cycle.
So the real takeaway is just start right now.
Absolutely. Pick one small thing, one micro habit. Commit to the discipline, not the mood. Lay that first stone for your foundation of consistency today.
And maybe a final thought to leave everyone with. Think about that big skill you want to master or that goal that seems almost impossible right now.
Yeah.
What could actually happen if you just applied tiny, consistent, focused effort towards it? Day after day, week after week. What could you genuinely achieve with that kind of steady, incremental push?
It's a powerful thought, isn't it? What becomes possible with true consistency?